Hello and welcome to WrestleCast episode 3. Today we are going to be reviewing WWE's Cruiserweight Classic, which has just finished. If you don't know about the Cruiserweight Classic, they took 32 cruiserweights from around the world, supposedly the best cruiserweights in the world, at least the best they could find and get to go to WWE, and they made them compete in a tournament called the Cruiserweight Classic. So let's jump right into it. The first round of the Cruiserweight Classic, which had 16 matches, was very slow in total. Actually, sitting watching the first round, which lasted a few episodes, I was not overly impressed and didn't think the Classic was going to amount to that much. I actually thought I might be wasting my time watching it. That is until the final match of round 1, which was Johnny Gargano, also known as Johnny Wrestling, against his NXT tag team partner Tommaso Ciampa. I may be saying his name wrong, Tommaso Ciampa, Tom Casso. Hopefully you know who I mean. This match was outstanding. Very good. Both men put on a phenomenal showing. They went out there and they told a great story within the match itself. A story of friends who didn't want to hurt each other. Their frustration was building that they couldn't beat each other until eventually it just became an all-out war between the two of them. Johnny Gargano eventually getting the win, but great showing from both men, and it really saved the Classic in the first round. Unfortunately, like I said, this was the final match of the first round, and the other 15 matches, they weren't bad. No, they didn't have any bad matches in it, but they just weren't great. I was hoping for a bit more, and this match really brought more. Moving on to round 2, where the 16 winners went through. This round was much better. All 8 matches in this round were very good. They really went for it. And a surprise elimination came, at least in my opinion, in the form of Tajiri, who is, I believe, a 2-time tag team champion. He's an ex-cruiserweight champion, and he was an ex-light heavyweight champion. He is the oldest man in this tournament, or was the oldest man in this tournament. Really expected him to go further. I didn't necessarily think Tajiri would win the tournament, but I definitely thought he would go further in the tournament than he did go. He's also one of only, I believe, 2 of the names who have been in WWE previously, or at least in the main roster, what with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa being in NXT. But Tajiri and Brian Kendrick are both in this tournament, and they obviously have both been on the WWE main roster before and have both held titles on the main roster. But Tajiri surprisingly eliminated in this round of the competition. At least I found it surprising that he was out so early. But every match in round 2 was a very good match, considerably better than round 1 was, although none of the matches were as good as the final match from round 1, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. I mean, considering how good that match was, it'd be like comparing every single match you ever see to, say, the Undertaker Mankind Hell in a Cell match. You just can't compare them. But round 2 overall was very good, really renewed my interest in this competition as a whole, and you really got to know a bit more of everyone's in-ring style. They got a bit more time with each of the matches because they had less matches. Really good. On to round 3, even better than round 2. Every single match was easily main event quality, without fail. Every single match was main event quality. Surprisingly, Brian Kendrick eliminated in this round. They were really getting rid of the established names in this round, or any remaining established names, but they really went for it every single match. I cannot say how impressed I was with Brian Kendrick. He was phenomenal. one of the smallest guys in the tournament, and he was wrestling he wrestles like a heel so well. Some of the things he done a neck breaker on the outside using the turnbuckle. Really he tried to get he was against Kota Ibushi and tried to jam his foot in the security barrier to win by count out. He really shows how good heel wrestling can be when they're allowed to just go for it, and he obviously was. Unfortunately, we don't see that caliber of wrestling, or at least that caliber of heel wrestling, nearly often enough, but that was incredible. Also, Brian Kendrick's 37 years old. For a guy his age, he done outstandingly well. Really was able to keep up with Kota Ibushi, which is saying something, because Kota Ibushi is in outstanding shape. He's a great performer, and both men done fantastic. In fact, everyone in round 3 done incredible. Like I said, every match in this was main event quality, easily. The fans were so into it. Every single match was getting a "This is awesome" chant, or a "Fight forever" chant, things like that. The losers were getting big "Thank you" chants, "We would sign you" chants. The fans were so into it, and they should have been. I watched some pay-per-views and things, and you hear "This is awesome" chants, and I'm sitting thinking it's not really that awesome. The fans are getting overexcited because they're there, but I've got to say that every single "This is awesome" chant, or every single "Thank you" chant, every single "Fight forever" chant in round 3 was completely earned by these performers. It was outstanding. On to the semi-finals. The first match in the semi-final was the Lucha Libre Gran Metalik against the Englishman Zack Sabre Jr., known as the Technical Wizard. This match started so fast. The Gran Metalik just went at him. They went on the outside. He done a big senton to the outside. It started so quickly, and the pace did not let up at all. It was fast paced from the get-go. Really fast, really high flying. Some incredible technical stuff from Zack Sabre Jr., who was said to be one of the favourites to win this entire tournament. They call him the Technical Wizard. You see why watching him. He pulls off some moves and holds like I have never seen before, and I've been a wrestling fan for over 20 years, and the stuff he does in the ring is so impressive. But Gran Metalik hit the Metalik driver, his finishing manoeuvre, and got the 3 count. Great match, very impressed with both men. Gran Metalik goes on to the final. Kota Ibushi versus T.J. Perkins was the next semi-final match. Kota Ibushi being the Japanese guy who defeated Brian Kendrick in round 3, or the Brian Kendrick in round 3. Kota Ibushi, so impressive. I was so impressed with him in every single match. And yeah, he was against T.J. Perkins, who is a Filipino wrestler. They made a big deal about how he stayed on the streets for a while, and how he'd done this and pushed his way through and really overcome adversity. This match was a slower start to the previous semi-final match, but it was so well done. The pacing of the match was fantastic. The match lasted a bit longer than the Gran Metalik against Zack Sabre Jr. match. Both men gave it everything they had. Kota Ibushi hit possibly the best missile dropkick I have ever seen in my life. It was picture perfect. There were dozens of false finishes in this match. Either man could have won the match 5 or 6 times easily, and no one would have complained, but it just kept going and going and going, and that was incredible. Eventually, T.J. Perkins locked in his knee bar submission, wins by tap out, but phenomenal match. Before the final, we were treated to a tag team match with Team DIY, who is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, who were both eliminated earlier in the competition, the NXT guys, against Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander. Again, two cruiserweights who were eliminated earlier in the competition. This tag team match was outstanding. Eventually, Team DIY took the win. They kind of had to, considering they're an NXT team who have been challenging for the NXT titles. They couldn't very well make them lose this match, but the action was phenomenal. These two lesser known guys of Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar really managed to keep up with Team DIY, and although Team DIY got the win in the end, this is a tag team match the caliber that you just don't see anywhere other than NXT. NXT, without a doubt, in my opinion, has the best tag division, and I think Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander could hang with the NXT tag division in general. This match, 5-star tag team match, undeniably. Like I say, you just don't get this tag team action anywhere else other than NXT, and that's saying something. The final of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament then went down to Gran Metalik against TJ Perkins. Both men standing in the ring when Triple H's music hits. Out comes Triple H to reveal the worst kept secret in wrestling. Yes, the Cruiserweight Classic is in fact for the Cruiserweight title, something that they've tried to keep under wraps, but everyone has in fact known for quite some time. Anyway, the match overall was pretty good. It was very good. Not as good as a lot of the matches previous in the tournament, but again, it's hard to compete with some of the caliber of these matches they put on. Some of these matches are so good, expecting the final to be better than them is just plain unrealistic. However, it was a very good, very enjoyable match, and there were a few great spots in it. One big botch on the outside where I genuinely thought Gran Metalik was possibly hurt. Luckily he seemed to get up uninjured and the match went on. Eventually TJ Perkins locked in his knee bar and won another match by submission. He has managed to win every single match in this tournament by submission, and he is given the Cruiserweight title to be the new Cruiserweight champion and the first ever winner of the Cruiserweight Classic. Overall, my thoughts on the Cruiserweight Classic is, with the exception of the first round, all the matches have been of a very high caliber. They've all been very, very good. Some of the promos or interviews and stuff with the talent competing in them have felt a bit X Factory, or maybe British Idol or American Idol or America's Got Talent or that kind of thing. It seems very much sob stories, especially with the likes of TJ Perkins, who won out about him living on the streets and try to push himself as a wrestler and all this, or with the likes of Brian Kendrick, who talks about how it might be his last chance because of his age, and he was at the top before but he's blown it, and so some of it felt very sob story when it was showing you the video segments of people, but the in-ring action was so good that as soon as it begins you forget about that. So overall, I would give this 4 out of 5, and the only reason it doesn't get that 5th star or 5th point or whatever is because some of the first round action was just a bit too slow, and because of they felt cheesy promos and things like that. But 4 stars for the first ever Cruiserweight Classic is by no means a bad result. I would like to give honourable mentions to some of the wrestlers in this who were my favourite wrestlers in the tournament, and they just done so well that they deserve a shout out. The first one being the Brian Kendrick. Like I say, he really brought his A game, shown everyone how to wrestle like a heel. I mean, he schooled people on heel wrestling in this tournament. I would also like to give a shout out to Kota Ibushi, whose finishing maneuver is just outstanding. If you haven't seen it, it's basically a sit-up powerbomb, but he does a last ride in it, outstanding, and the sheer calibre of his performance was incredible. I would also like to give a shout out to the 3 British competitors in the tournament. I would also like to give a shout out to the 3 British competitors in the tournament, all of whom were very, very good. Zack Sabre Jr., Englishman who made it to the semi-finals, the technical wizard, he was great. Jack Gallagher, another man from England, very gentlemanly, curvy moustache. Again, he done some stuff that was incredible. I've never seen people get out of submission holds or get out of holds in general the way he does, like turning into things instead of powering out of it. It was really something to watch. And third and not least, Noam Dar, the Israeli Scotsman, if that makes any sense. He's born in Israel but raised in Scotland, moved there stayed there from 5 years old, and considers himself a Scot. He said he was representing Scotland in this tournament, and he done very, very well. Again, he was put out in the 3rd round by Zack Sabre Jr., but he did compete in the tag team match in the final, and like I say, that match was outstanding. So I'd like to give the shout out to all of them who done fantastic, and I'd just like to finish off by saying, if you get the opportunity, please go check out any local wrestling promotions, because this is where guys like this come from. You know, they come from the indies. Sure, some of them have been on larger shows like Ring of Honor and maybe New Japan Wrestling, things like that. But these guys all start from very small local promotions. So if you get the chance, please go check some out. I'm from the Edinburgh and Lothians area in Scotland, and I know in September alone there's 2 promotions reasonably locally. There's one on the 23rd of September at the Corn Exchange in Edinburgh, where actual Tommaso Ciampa is going to be appearing and having a match. So that's quite a big deal. NXT guy going to be wrestling in Edinburgh for a local promotion over there. And on the, I believe it's the 29th, W3L will be holding their yearly resolution in the Brunton Theatre at Musselburgh. Highlights will be the World Heavyweight title match and the Golden Ticket ladder match. So if you're from this area and you get the chance, go check them out. I'm going to personally try to make both shows. Whether I'll be able to or not, who knows. But thanks for joining us here at WrestleCast. I hope you enjoyed this video. What did you think about the Cruiserweight Classic tournament, and who was your favourite in the tournament? Put any comments you have below, let us know. If there's anything you'd like to see or listen to us make a video on, please comment that down below. Hit the thumbs up if you like this, subscribe for more wrestling talks type stuff, and we shall catch you soon. So until next time, please try this at home.